Hi, this is Dan Connolly of BaltimoreBaseball.com, and we are here with a special guest and a member of our staff, Dean Jones, Jr., who is doing the Dean Jones Report this year for us. Dean is a former member of the Baltimore Sun editorial staff. He was a baseball editor, a high school editor, did a bunch of different stuff. He was my boss, which was always fun. And now Dean is doing some stuff for me, so we're flipping around a little bit, but he is going to be in charge of our minor league section this year. Dean, welcome aboard.
Hey, great to have you, man. 80 degrees, baseball's back. It's always a good time.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what Dean Jones Report is on BaltimoreBaseball.com.
Well, it's one of those things, down on the farm, the prospects, one of those things, as the years of the Orioles haven't been so good, the key focus was on the farm, and now, they're competing. They've had, some winning seasons. They've been at 500 last year, and, the attention's kind of turned away from the farm a little bit, and, I think we kind of want to give readers a way to look at, hey, which prospects are down there and, which other players that are performing well who could kind of play a role in the Major League squad, perhaps later this year, down the road a few seasons from now, which are the top prospects, top picks, from the last couple drafts are doing well, who's sneaking a peek, down at Bowie that's impressing, and we want to kind of tell the BaltimoreBaseball.com readers about that, and hopefully encourage some people to get out there and check those players out themselves.
Now, the Orioles system has not been lauded over the last few years. I think it's been 27-28 by Baseball America the last couple years. But Dan Duquette likes to point out a couple things. One, that a lot of the guys last year in the minor league system that maybe weren't even rated that highly in, say, Baseball America or MLB.com ended up helping the Orioles last year. Michael Givens was one of them. Oliver Drake was another. So he likes to say that there are guys there and that they kind of have an idea of what their top 10 list is or whatever, and that each year these guys can help out the Orioles. And, Buck Showalter makes a point of a lot of the guys that are on the 25-man roster this year were drafted by Joe Jordan, who left years ago, and people said that he didn't do a great job in stocking the farm system. And a lot of those guys you see on the Major League, on the Major League roster now. So I guess my first question to you is, I know you're using the Baseball America top 10 guys. Who are some guys we can look for that we might be able to see here in 2016 with the Orioles?
Well, I think one guy, I know Daniel and I have had conversations with Chris Lee, lefty. He's pitching down at Bowie right now, and, they have him start, and they acquired him last year. I think it was around in May from the Astros, and kind of, again, like, we talked about it, it was kind of an unheralded move, it wasn't too exciting of a move. He kind of helped do the key part of Bowie winning the Eastern League Championship last year and kind of impressed a little bit. And so far this season, they have 3-4 wins, and he had 2 of them, so it's kind of one of those things that he's kind of turning heads a little bit, and like you said, it goes back to what they said, it's not necessarily the top prospects on the Baseball America list, although he is on it. It's not necessarily those guys. It's the depth, and you kind of want to build guys who not only turn the quote unquote experts' heads, but also impress on the field. Ultimately it comes down to what's between the lines, and you can have guys tear through the minor leagues all you want, but there's also the 4A players. So there's guys who busted up down there and then can't cut it at the major league level. So it's kind of one of those things where, like I said, we just want to show everyone that we can down there. So the way we're going to have it set up, we're going to have so there's 7 minor leaguers right now who are in Baseball America's top 10 list, because Michael Givens, Dylan Mundy, and Mike Wright are all in the major league. So the other 7, we're going to kind of highlight them each week and update their process on a weekly basis. And then we're going to have a surging and falling category, which is kind of going to be 4, 5, 6 guys who are, impressing in the past week, and kind of 1 to 2 sentences on them. And then, on the same side, who's kind of had a down week and who not necessarily is falling in the organization or, anything like that, but just is kind of struggling at the moment, and kind of pay attention. So, hey, like I said, if you go to the game and you see a guy like Mike Yastrzemski struggling a little bit at Bowie, then he all of a sudden gets 3 hits, and you think, oh man, he's turning it on now, and BaltimoreBaseball.com might have him on the surgery list next week. So it's kind of something, like I said, let us track it week to week and keep fans interested, and hopefully everyone will kind of comment and give their opinions on what they think of the players in our comment section each week.
And Dean, you're not just looking at, say, Bowie or Frederick. I mean, you're looking at all the teams in the Orioles, all the affiliates in the Orioles system, and kind of tracking guys from, really Aberdeen pretty much all the way up to Norfolk, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, obviously Aberdeen won't start until, right. June, but I think that, the short season teams, everyone kind of, overlooks them a little bit, but that's key. I mean, that's where a lot of the, draft picks start each year. DJ Stewart, who was on the top 10 list, was the first round pick last year. He, he started at Aberdeen, and, those guys kind of, everyone, kind of, like I said, overlooks that section, but, that's kind of the first glimpse at, hey, what can they do on the pro level? A lot of these guys are coming from aluminum bats and getting into the wood bats, and it's a key first step. Obviously, like a first-round pick, I think there's not that many questions there, but, other guys who are later-round picks, and, hey, they get in there. A guy's a 28th round pick and gets into Aberdeen and, leads the New York Penn League in home runs. Well, we're going to want to promote him on our, highlight him for the fans on our board and let people know what they're seeing, and hopefully, that player would have a bright future.
Now, I mentioned you were an editor at the Baltimore Sun, and you were my boss, and you're a baseball editor, a high school editor, but you also wrote a column for a while for the Baltimore Sun, BaltimoreSun.com, the O's on Deck, and that was a very popular feature, which, kind of did the same thing and featured a lot of minor league things, kind of updates, certain players, certain the different teams. And you're a local Baltimore guy, so why do minor leagues interest you so much? I mean, I know you're a big Orioles fan. You pay attention to the Orioles a lot, but you really do have a kind of a niche area in the minor leagues.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, what exactly you said. It dating back to the time at the Sun, when we started O's on Deck, it was, right before, it was probably, I guess, 2010, maybe 2010, 2011, and it was kind of the cavalry was coming up, all the heralded arms, Matt Wieters as well, and all the, the glut of top picks that they had. And at the major league level, they weren't cutting it at the time. And I kind of pitched to the higher ups there that, hey, there's an interest in the minor league. People care, about the prospects and kind of the hope for the future. And we joked about it, hope springs eternal and kind of, it'll be next year, it'll be next year. And then before you knew it, 2012 came around and it was that year. And, all those guys who we had been writing about and covering for a little bit, had came up and started to make contributions. And, the thing of it is, like I said, now, they're in first place in the American League East. Things are looking bright. And, down on the farm, things aren't looking so well. A lot of the teams are off to rough starts, in the standings. But, again, we need to see what guys are going to kind of come up in late August, September, and kind of put them over the hump if they're competing for the AL East this year. Or, hey, if things turn down and, Major League team starts to struggle, well, let's hope not. But, hey, it happens. And then, these minor leaguers could either come up, and kind of reverse that back or, start building for the future next year, the year after. If a guy, Matt Wieters leaves in free agency, okay, well, who's the catcher that's down on the farm that could replace him? Stuff like that. And, I think that's, especially in the internet age, Twitter and everyone kind of can be their own, spokesman there on Twitter. And like I said, give their opinions in our comment sections on BaltimoreBaseball.com. And, I encourage it. I think that's the way. I mean, I'm not the only person who can kind of watch and judge. There's other media outlets, obviously, out there who cover the team. And there's, fans in the stands who, your opinion is as good as mine. If you have a phone, you have a camera, you have a video, you have, your analysis, I'm more than willing to hear it. If you think a guy I've rated too highly or, a guy that I said, he's had a rough week, and you say, well, this is why he had that rough week. This is what I saw. That's great. The discussion and the dialogue is exactly what makes the internet and sites like BaltimoreBaseball.com work, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be a fun thing. I'm very excited about it. Like you said, we can kind of do the interaction. Dean will be our point person on the minor leagues, what's going on, the minor league players, where their stocks are going up and down, the Dean Jones report, and and certainly we'd like to have readers kind of comment back and forth and check out the minor leagues because BaltimoreBaseball.com, it's not just the Orioles. We're also talking about the Orioles affiliates as well as high schools, which Dean helps us with as well. So anyway, I want to say thank you, Dean. I can't wait for this feature to run. We're going to try to run it, if possible, on Tuesdays and every Tuesday. And so it should work out great for us and hopefully great for you and kind of get the band back together and have you and I working together again. So Dean, fantastic. Can't wait to see the first one.
Hey, absolutely. Hopefully everybody will check it out.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, and please check out our Dean Jones report on BaltimoreBaseball.com. This is Dan Connolly and Dean Jones. Thank you very much.